Enter player 1.
Sadie asked for Muppets Christmas Carol, which is either a completely innocent holiday request or an early indicator of exceptional taste. Possibly both. Either way, this one earns its place immediately because Muppets Christmas Carol is not just a seasonal comfort watch. It is, irritatingly, one of the best film adaptations of A Christmas Carol ever made. Yes, even with rats, frogs, and a blue dude whose job description is looks sad and plays piano. On the surface, the idea sounds like a novelty. Take Dickens' famously bleak moral fable about greed, regret and death, then inject Muppets, felt faces, musical numbers, chickens. This should not work. It should collapse into chaos by the second song. Instead, it somehow manages to honour the source material more faithfully than many serious, expensive, aggressively British adaptations that seem allergic to joy. Part of that success comes from the timing. Released in 1992, this was the first major Muppet film made after Jim Henson's death. You can feel the weight of that fact in the movie. There is a sincerity here that goes beyond nostalgia. This is a film made by people who clearly cared about the material, cared about the Muppets, and cared about getting it right. It is funny, yes, but it is also careful, reverent even, which is not a word usually associated with Gonzo. Michael Caine's performance as Ebenezer Scrooge is the foundation everything else stands on. His approach was famously simple. He played the role completely straight, as if he were acting opposite the Royal Shakespeare Company rather than a collection of felt anarchists. No mugging, no ironic distance, no I'm in on the joke energy. He treats every Muppet like a real person, and that choice is the single smartest decision the film makes. Caine's Scrooge is cold, rigid and emotionally fossilized. He is not flamboyantly evil. He is efficient in his cruelty, which makes him far more believable. His disdain for charity, his impatience with Bob Cratchit, his obsession with profit over people all feel uncomfortably recognizable. This is not a cartoon villain. This is a man who has spent decades convincing himself that isolation is the same thing as strength. That realism allows the redemption to matter. When Scrooge changes, it does not feel like a switch flipping, it feels like something breaking loose inside him. By the end of the film, when he sings and laughs and reconnects with the world, it is genuinely moving. Not because the movie tells you to feel something, but because you watched a man earn it. The Muppets are used with impressive discipline. Gonzo as Charles Dickens is a stroke of genius. Acting as narrator, he preserves much of Dickens' original language, which gives the film a literary backbone without bogging it down. Paired with Rizzo the Rat, Gonzo also provides comic commentary that keeps the tone balanced. The two of them function as both audience stand-ins and affectionate critics, reminding you that yes, this is a Muppet movie, but also yes, this story still hurts where it is supposed to. Kermit the Frog as Bob Cratchit is perfect casting, and not just because Kermit is contractually obligated to represent decency. His Bob Cratchit is gentle, patient, and quietly worn down by life. Kermit plays him not as a saint, but as someone who chooses kindness even when it costs him. Miss Piggy as Emily Cratchit is dialed back from her usual chaos, and the result is one of her most likeable portrayals. She is warm, supportive, and emotionally grounded. Their relationship feels authentic, which is essential because the Cratchit household is the emotional heart of the film. Tiny Tim, portrayed by Robin the Frog, avoids the usual pitfalls of the character. He is not overly cute. He is not a symbol hammered into your skull. He is simply kind, hopeful, and vulnerable. When Scrooge is shown the future without him, the moment lands hard. The empty chair speaks louder than any speech ever could. It is quietly devastating, and the film trusts you enough to let it be. The ghosts are another area where the film exceeds expectations. The ghost of Christmas Past is genuinely unsettling, closer to Dickens's description than many live-action versions dare to be. She is strange, ethereal, and slightly eerie, which suits the idea of memory as something fragile and painful. The ghost of Christmas Present is larger than life, joyful and booming with warmth, perfectly embodying abundance and generosity without tipping into excess. And the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is pure nightmare fuel, silent, towering, and merciless. This version understands that fear is sometimes the most effective teacher. The musical numbers deserve more respect than they usually get. Paul Williams's songs are not filler. They are carefully placed emotional signposts. Scrooge introduces the character with biting clarity. One more sleep till Christmas is bittersweet in a way that sneaks up on you, capturing both anticipation and loneliness. When Love Is Gone, often cut in later releases, is a critical piece of the story. Its absence weakens the emotional arc, and its restoration in recent versions only proves how necessary it is. Without it, Scrooge's regret feels muted. With it, the heartbreak is undeniable. Visually, the film is lovingly crafted. The sets feel tactile and lived in. Victorian London is grimy, cold, and oppressive without becoming grotesque. The warmth of the Cratchit home contrasts sharply with Scrooge's sterile chambers, reinforcing the emotional divide between wealth and connection. The practical effects, puppetry, and costuming hold up remarkably well, partly because they were never chasing realism. They were chasing feeling. What truly elevates Muppets Christmas Carol is its understanding of Dickens' core message. This is not just a story about being nicer. It is about recognizing the damage caused by emotional isolation. Scrooge is not redeemed because he becomes generous with money. He is redeemed because he reconnects with humanity. The film treats that transformation seriously, without cynicism and without apology. There is also something quietly profound about the Muppets being the ones to tell this story. The Muppets have always represented found family, collaboration, and imperfect community. Placing them inside a narrative about rediscovering connection feels thematically perfect. They are chaos, warmth, and sincerity incarnate. Against them, Scrooge's isolation feels even starker. Sadie's request makes sense because this movie has a strange ability to hit different generations in different ways. Kids see songs and jokes, adults see regret, missed chances, and the terrifying speed of time. Repeat viewings only deepen its impact. It grows with you, which is not something most holiday films can claim. In the crowded field of Christmas movies, Muppets Christmas Carol stands apart because it refuses to condescend. It trusts its audience, it trusts Dickens, it trusts that sincerity is not weakness. And it proves against all logic that a man learning to love again can be portrayed just as powerfully when surrounded by frogs and rats as when surrounded by Oscar-winning co-stars. So yes, Sadie chose well. Whether she knew it or not, she picked a film that balances humour, darkness, warmth, and hope with surgical precision. It is funny without being shallow, emotional without being manipulative, and faithful without being stiff. It is, annoyingly, a classic. And if that realisation bothers who thinks a proper Dickens adaptation must involve snow machines, prestige accents, and at least one aggressively sad violin, that sounds like a personal problem. The Muppets already solved Christmas.